to move the motion?
I move the motion.
20 minutes
I'm sharing time, Cancora, with Deputy Lahart, Deputy Moynihan, Deputy Castles, and I think Deputy Eugene Murphy if he comes back in. Cancora, I welcome the opportunity to bring this motion to the Dáil here this evening. Can I start off by welcoming the groups who have come in to the visitors' gallery to hear the contributions from the various sides of the House. Can I apologise to them for the late start? Unfortunately, we had due to start at 6:05 and one thing or another led over, and we're now only starting now, so I apologise to them for the inconvenience caused. And can I take the opportunity to thank them for the work that they have done over many years in advocacy of the need for greater investment and a greater prioritisation of cycling in our national policy. Minister, the reason why I bring forward this motion tonight is to try and encourage you and to highlight to you and to your department the urgent need to prioritise cycling. You seem to have a major issue, Minister, when it comes to prioritisation within your department. Only last week, despite the fact that the urgent need when it comes to road traffic legislation is a consolidation of the Road Traffic Act, to prevent and to try and alleviate unnecessary legal challenges to the Road Traffic Act, you try now bring forward further amendments which will further complicate the Act and leave it open to further challenge and again disproportionate penalties for offences. In the area of cycling, Minister, you have a poor record. Since you came to office, the cycling national budget, in which you confirmed to me yourself by way of a parliamentary reply, has been cut from over 16 million to 10 million in the incoming year. Earlier this year, Minister, you gave a firm commitment to implementing the statutory instrument in relation to the minimum passing distance. And I want to compliment the groups who brought that campaign so far, who brought it to the gates of Dáil Éireann. I was facilitating the group and I was on the verge of bringing forward a motion, an amendment to a road traffic bill later that evening in the committee stage. And Minister, you tried, I suppose, to get the upper hand and tried to play politics with this issue. And on the morning that the amendment was due to be debated, you announced and called a press conference that you would be signing a statutory instrument in the immediate future. When pushed, you said within weeks, and we're now 12 months on and that still didn't happen. Now you blame the Attorney General's advice, but you either did two things, Minister. You either called a press conference without having sought the Attorney General's advice, which you did. That was very poor actions of a minister. Or secondly, you ignored the initial advice of the Attorney General and you decided to plough ahead in the hope that you'd get publicity. But the simple fact of the matter is, it's the cyclists who were felt let down by your inaction in relation to the minimum passing distance, Minister. And I don't for a second accept your contention that it's not workable. It's workable in so many states in the US, it's workable in so many states in Australia, and it's working in many of our European neighbours. So why, Minister, if it can work in so many other places around the world, why can it not work here in Ireland? And it's because your lack of priority to ensuring that this has progressed. When you look at how cycling has increased by 43% from 2011 to 2016, last year 90,000 people cycled in Dublin alone. So that in itself is a reason, Minister, to prioritise cycling. When you look at the chronic infrastructure that's in place, we need to invest in our infrastructure. When we look at, unfortunately, in this year alone, 9 people have lost their lives. 9 cyclists have lost their lives. If we look at the benefits, of moving people from cars to bikes in terms of reducing our chronic congestion problems. Look at the positive benefits that it can have on both physical and mental health. And look at the hugely positive effects it can have on the environment. There are 5 key reasons why, Minister, we're bringing forward this motion tonight in the hope that we can pressure you to prioritise cycling in your departmental priorities for 2019. As I said, in the area of safety, in the last 5 years, 59 people were killed on our roads, and we must express our sympathies to the families who were bereaved on our roads. In 2017, by way of freedom of information, we realised that 350 cyclists were treated for head injuries, 345 for elbow and forearm injuries. That in itself clearly demonstrates the need for segregated cycle lanes to enable our cyclists to cycle safely. You will, I've no doubt, in your reply talk about bus connects and the plans you have in relation to that. In some instances, Minister, we'll be waiting for 10 years for bus connects to give effect. The pace is too slow, and we need an acceleration in the rollout of segregated lanes. I want to also take an opportunity to compliment both Ministers Doherty and Cannon, who actually brought forward a bill in relation to minimum passing distance over 2 years ago. And for 1 full year, Minister, you resisted the implementation or facilitation of that bill. As I said, in the area of health, the huge positive effects benefits that it can have in the area of physical health and the area of mental health can't be understated. In the area of environment, Minister, we have a huge task on hand in terms of how we're going to meet our targets in relation to climate change. One of the areas that would seriously benefit and help is the area of cycling. The EU has set a target of a reduction of 20% by 2020 and 30% by 2030, compared to 2005 levels for Ireland. Figures from the EPA suggest that Ireland will only be able to reduce its emissions by a maximum of 1% by 2020. We are so far off meeting our targets, Minister, it's unbelievable. Finally, can I say, Dublin City Council were fortunate, and I compliment them, on winning the bid to host the Velo Cycling Conference in 2019. Minister, I'd like to hear from you what your priorities are in relation to projects that can be delivered in advance of this conference to show that your late conversion that you said last year to cycling is not just merely words, but it can be demonstrated in action. Gormagan, Ken Corla.